Welcome to the Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Josh Kimmel, Dave Campbell, and Justin Bowerly.
Welcome into Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. This is your Friday afternoon live shows where we break down our rankings. We are talking wide receivers today. We're going to go through our top 8 wide receivers ranked within the OUS group and staff. We don't have a special guest today. It's just me and Justin. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him in right now, and we're going to talk some wide receivers for you on this beautiful Friday afternoon. What's going on, Justin?
What's up? Good. I have to switch this. I can't.
Yeah, fix it. I was about to say,
there
fix
we
the
go.
camera, dude. And this is the. I just want to say this is the first ever jacket cast. We're all wearing long sleeves, I believe. Are you wearing long sleeves? Long sleeve check. That's right. Jacket cast here in August, right before the preseason for our freezing cold takes that we're about to give you. We didn't plan this, by the way. And when was the last time you see me in a jacket?
Probably since our hoodie cast last season.
Yes, in the winter time for Florida. It's blazing hot outside.
So, aka October, like that's when it was.
October is still hot in October. I guarantee you in October I'll still be
then.
at the beach. No. Yes, maybe December. But anyway, we're here talking wide receivers. We have our top 8. We have some preseason news. Have you been watching the preseason?
No.
So
Jacoby Brissett started last night. So that's
a lot of people
there.
tell me I need to watch the preseason because I am on YouTube talking fantasy football once a week or now twice a week. And this is what I'll say to you people. And I'm not going to be negative. I promise. Nothing matters in the preseason. Absolutely nothing.
Nobody that scored 2 touchdowns and had all these rushing yards is going to matter once the season starts. So it's not important at the moment. Like it might start getting important like the 3rd week of preseason, the last game when more starters are playing. But the only thing that really matters right now are deep dynasty leagues, Devy leagues, and maybe like I don't know, injuries. Like pay attention to the injuries, but that's all that you're getting out of preseason right now.
Especially week 1, especially the first week of preseason. I have not tuned into one game yet. There's reasons for that. Been very busy. And there's also other reasons where I've been on a 3-year strike where I just refuse to watch preseason because my takes and my beliefs and my draft strategies will get skewed because I'll see Eric Gray score 2 touchdowns and go, oh, wow, Eric Gray is going to be a player. But in reality, Eric Gray is not a player. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying using him as an example. I would get burned so many times going, oh, wow, this person's going to bust out. Trey Palmer is going to be relevant for the Buccaneers. Trey Palmer was not relevant for the Buccaneers. You get my drift. Now, if you want to watch preseason and you enjoy it, that's on you, and I congratulate you, and please keep watching and tell us what's going on. Because and this is not a joke, and this is not a slight at you at all. It's just, to me, it's a nothing burger, and it means nothing to your fantasy drafts.
No,
anyway,
not even in our rookie league. Like, do I care at the moment? Because none of them are making an impact. All of our guys are drafted anyway. So
a lot of people are gonna give me negative feedback on that, which is fine.
It's fine.
It's you fine. Do you, and I'll do me, and we'll all win together. We'll all win together. That's what it is. We have different strategies. For everyone has a different strategy. If you care about Eric Gray and you want to pick him up on your dynasty team, go ahead for it. I would pick him up if you have open waivers, but don't expect much, in my opinion. All right, wide receivers.
Well, do you want to talk about the Brandon Ayuk news?
Yeah, I'm looking at my rundown, and I don't see it on the rundown.
There's nothing on there. I didn't put it on there because I saw this as I was waiting for you to get on the show. Brandon Ayuk still has not been traded from the 49ers. Again, I stand by this. I don't think he will be, but he did apparently turn down $32 million per year from the Patriots because he didn't like the quarterback situation.
I don't blame him for not liking the
quarterback. I don't either.
Situation. So that tells me.
What do you want? Do you want the money or do you want the QB? Like, not a lot. The only team that can give you the money and the QB is the 49ers.
But they're not giving him the money. So there's a problem there.
Right.
They have a problem with Brock Purdy. As in, they're gonna have to pay him soon.
They're gonna have
Quarterbacks
to pay a
get
lot.
paid.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're probably thinking about the future of like, do we pay Brock Purdy, who is our quarterback, the guy who's going to drive us to championships that we think, right? Because he's been
We
doing it. He's been winning games. Or do we pay a wide receiver?
we see this all the
Honestly,
time though. Like
wide receiver.
they make the payment and then all of a sudden money changes and they make it work anyway. I mean, look at the Dolphins. They paid Tyreek, they paid Waddle, they paid Tua, they paid everybody.
Yeah, and they'll figure it
And
out. They'll
it
find out
still
how to.
works. Like they still figured it out in the cap. So it's money. The salary cap is fake.
Salary cap is fake news. Speaking about a guy who wants to get paid, because we're gonna get right into it. CD Lamb. Oh, I'm gonna get paid too. My payday was yesterday though. CD Lamb. We have him ranked overall wide receiver 1 on our list. He's going ADP wide receiver 1 right now, second overall in most drafts. I don't go on X often. I did this morning because I had to shoot a group message, and he's the first person I saw. CD Lamb's tweet was the first person I saw, and with Jerry Jones saying that he's not really urgent to get CD paid or a deal done, and he just wrote LOL. Do we take anything from that? Are we afraid? Are we dropping him in our rankings at all? Are we dropping him on our draft board because he has this situation?
No.
No,
Whether
it doesn't make.
he's gonna play, and when he does play, he's gonna ball out. And then he's just gonna get more and more expensive for the Dallas Cowboys. Same thing with Dak. Same thing with CD.
What do you
Jerry
think
Jones, for some reason, keeps doing this, and then just it backfires on him epically every year. I don't get it.
It truly does, especially the year CD had last year, 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, 135 catches. Pay the man his money. Like, just go. He's literally the best receiver in the league right now. If you take Justin Jefferson out of the situation, I still believe JJ is number 1. But for fantasy this year going in 2024, he's got to be number 1 on everyone's list. And I will be very, very, very shocked if he's not drafted in your top 3 in these drafts coming up in the next couple of weeks.
I just don't see how you look at your depth chart and you see Dak Prescott, a 2024 Ezekiel Elliott, CD Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Jalen Tolbert, and go, if we lost Dak and CD, we'll be fine. Like, is Jerry Jones actually thinking about this holistically, or do you just go, what, we'll figure it out in the draft? No. Anyway, Jake Ferguson. I forgot about Jake Ferguson.
He hasn't really made the best decisions over there in Dallas, and he continues to do it year after year after year. My question to you is, CD Lamb had a historic year last year for him. 181 targets coming off of 156 the year before, 120 the year before, 111 the year before that. So every year he goes up. And we always talk about projecting forward. Is this CD Lamb's ceiling?
Is this the ceiling? Yeah, that's the real question. Is it his ceiling? I would hate to say no, but could he go up one more time? That's the real question. And we might be trying to Google the same thing the quickest, but
I'm not Googling anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's in my head, buddy. Right up here. I have it all memorized.
So do you know who has the most targets in NFL history in a single season?
Ooh. Michael Thomas?
No.
Who is it?
Michael Thomas is 10th actually on this list. Looking at this list, last year CD Lamb would be ranked 15th in the NFL since 2002. Or no, I'm sorry. No, in general in NFL history, I think. I don't know. The oldest player on here is 2001 actually. So Keyshawn Johnson was ranked 23. So CD Lamb falls in 15th with 181 targets. Marvin Harrison Sr. had 205 targets in 2002. The last player to have more targets than 181 was Justin Jefferson in 2022 with 184. So can CD Lamb go up more? Yes. Will he go up more? Debatable. The thing is who is taking those targets away from him on that offense? It's not Jalen Tolbert. It's not going to really be Brandon Cooks. It's not going to be Zeke Elliott. It might be Jake Ferguson, but like Jake Ferguson's not getting 150 targets. So, and Dak throws the ball. That's the whole point about Dak's game is he throws the ball. So CeeDee Lamb by default should get those targets. I would honestly really guess that he's probably going to get 190 something targets this year.
Woo! I'm not going that far.
I'm going to call it 190.
I'm going to think he's going to fall back to that 150 target range, which is totally fine. In 2022, that's what he had: 156 targets, 107, 1,300 yards. He was wide receiver 6 overall in fantasy. That's cool. Here's my advice and my thoughts on CeeDee Lamb. He's a can't miss target. I'm drafting. So in my home league, we got the Olympics going on. I have France. We're doing medal counts. I think I'm projected to be a top 3 pick if France holds off and keeps doing good stuff. I'm aiming for CeeDee Lamb in this draft. I'm hoping someone takes CMC. It's a super flex league as well. I'm hoping someone takes a quarterback. And here's why. Even if he doesn't finish with 181 targets, 135, the best receiver in the world, 12 touchdowns, his floor to me is wide receiver 5. And what have I been saying? What have I been saying this entire time? In this entire podcast history, first round picks. I'm not trying to win the league in my first round. I'm just trying to get safety. I want the safest player possible. And I'm looking at Justin Jefferson. Yes, I love him. Yes, he's the best receiver in my eyes in the world. But he has issues with Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy, that offense. We don't know what's going to happen. We look at Jamar Chase, same situation. He's got question marks. He has games where he's off. CeeDee Lamb is the most safe. I don't know how to say this without sounding like an idiot. The most safe receiver in the history of the world. But I said this about Michael Thomas after his historic year. And then Michael Thomas just fell off the face of the planet. I'm not saying CeeDee Lamb's going to do that. There's no way. It's totally different situations. Michael Thomas didn't really care about football much, and his injuries lingered. CeeDee Lamb is not even close to the same. But I remember on this show 4 years ago telling everyone Michael Thomas is going to finish his career as the best receiver of all time. I said that. At the time, I believed it because he was amazing until the injury. CeeDee Lamb has the actual potential to do this and continue it because he hasn't had the lagging injuries, and he's much more talented than Michael Thomas. He has a better route tree. He has a better quarterback. Drew Brees was awesome. But you get what I'm saying. Dak Prescott's up there is throwing the ball as well. I'm taking CeeDee Lamb as my wide receiver 1 this year, and I'm going to adjust my rankings after the show if he's already not my number 1.
Okay. He's not.
There we go.
He's not your number 1.
I know. I'm going to adjust it. I think I have Justin Jefferson as 1 still.
You do not.
Tyreek?
You do, which is our next guy.
He's our next guy. He's the one who just got paid. He's going ADP wide receiver 2, going 3 overall. This is another guy who just can't miss. Another guy who had a historic year last year. A guy who should have had 2,000 yards. I don't understand what happened there. I really don't. It really bugs me to this day that I wanted Tyreek Hill to go over 2,000 yards. Just didn't happen. He had 1799, slowed down at the end of the season, just like Tua slows down at the end of the season. It's going to happen in Miami. That's okay. That's okay. We're a Finstock Sports Network.
This is another player that continues to go up every year since 2020. 135 targets, 159 targets, 170 targets, and last year at the 171 targets. His numbers continue to go up. Is he at his ceiling? We just talked about it with CeeDee. Is Tyreek Hill at his ceiling at age 30?
Yes. And it's not because of his age. It's not because of the offense. It's not because of him. It's because of the people around him. You have a Raheem Mostert who could score a bajillion touchdowns, which we saw last year. We have the Jalen Waddle, who was injured all year last year. People forget about Jalen Waddle. He had 104 targets last year, which is ridiculously low. The year before that, he only had 116, but 2021, he had 142. We've seen him do it before. He's yet to go back to his rookie state where he actually had a bajillion targets. The difference is the yardage. He had 1,015 yards. That year, he had 142 targets. Last year, he had 1,014 and played less games. So they're getting the ball down the field more to him. I can't speak today. They're getting the ball down to him. They're getting the ball downfield to him when he's wide open. The problem is he can't stay healthy. if Jalen Waddle stays healthy and he plays a full 16 games or 17 games, it's gonna reduce Tyreek Hill's usage. It just is. Waddle's too good to be ignored. And I think he's the best number 2 in football. You don't think so?
Interesting. It's big words from somebody that owns or rosters Tyreek.
I don't own players.
T Higgins everywhere. Rosters T Higgins everywhere. So,
well, T Higgins is a future number 1 somewhere. So I'm excited for that. Listen, Waddle's too expensive. Waddle's expensive.
Yes, I mean second round pick pretty much in a lot of leagues. So that's really expensive for a number 2 wide receiver.
Yes, but go back to Tyreek. If you had a draft, because I don't know where you have him ranked. I have Tyreek number 1, but I am going to move him to the number 2 and put CD at number 1. I mean, how could you be so down on Tyreek? He is the focal point of that offense, and they just paid him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. Tyreek's great. There are drafts where like if he's available in the later rounds of the first round or even the early second, I'm taking him. But usually in super flex leagues, he's not available in the second round. He's always taken in the first round at the end. So, yeah, no, Tyreek's great. He's fast. He catches a lot of balls. He gets his targets. That's the thing. So, like, there's nothing bad to say about Tyreek Hill other than he's 30 years old now.
Okay, so if you're drafting tomorrow, and
which
CMC,
one of us is?
If in CMC or Tyreek's on the board in non-super flex, my league is super flex. So I'm going non-super flex because the majority of the people watching this right now don't play super flex. Non-super flex, you have CMC or Tyreek Hill left after CD went 101. Let's just assume CD went 101. Are you still taking CMC with that injury news? Or are we leaning towards Tyreek Hill?
I'm still probably taking CMC. The amount of top tier wide receivers out there that can score you a lot of points is greater than the amount of running backs that can score you a lot of points, especially the amount of running backs that can also catch the ball and get a lot of yards that way as well. So I'm probably still leaning CMC there.
Okay, I'm the total opposite of you. I have been the CMC pounder of the tabler since his birth, I believe. So much so where I'm not popular or famous and no one knows who I am. I'm not even on X anymore. My first ever live Scott Fishbowl draft, some random guy I never even met. And this is a humble brag, actually. Hey, the CMC guy. I was known as the CMC guy for somebody. So one person said, hey, the CMC guy. Because I was the only person telling people to draft him 101. And he was awesome that year. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'm off of him now. And I'm not off of him like, oh, don't draft CMC. Do not. You heard it here first, folks. Don't draft CMC. No, that's not what I'm saying. Top 3 picks. I want safety. And if CMC's already getting dinged up in preseason already, and it's August 9th, I'm taking the guys who are normally healthy throughout the season, which is Tyreek Hill, CD Lamb, Justin Jefferson, the top end wide receivers. And I'll come back on the second end and get Saquon Barkley, like I stated before. That's why. And this is why this show is important. These wide receivers, to me, are in a different tier than any running back on your list. I see a lot of people out there saying, got to get the running backs. Breece Hall, CMC. I disagree. Justin, this is what you're supposed to say. Josh, you're wrong. We're going to fight about this.
I have nothing to fight with you about. The top wide receivers are very, very, very good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes. And the next guy on our list right here, Justin Jefferson, going ADP wide receiver 4, 6 overall. We have met the wide receiver 3 position between all of our rankers, mainly because of the bias of the Viking Dave and the bias of Josh, who obviously follows Viking Dave everywhere. I will go ahead and put Justin Jefferson 1, but I'm going to move him down. I'm excited for the season. I'm excited to see how good he is because, as we stated before on many, many shows, the dude doesn't need a top-end quarterback to ball out. He did it with Jaren Hall, did it with the guy with no eyebrows. I forgot his name now. What's his name again? The dude with no eyebrows?
Oh, you're talking about Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. There we go. He did it with subpar talent when he came back, and he blew everyone out of the water. People forget when he came back from injury, he was, I think, the number 2 wide receiver behind CD Lamb with Jaren Hall and with the guy with no eyebrows. We could all be wrong. Justin Jefferson could be the number 1 guy there. Are you feeling comfortable drafting him above guys like Amon-Ra or Jamar Chase?
We just had this conversation on Wednesday about both Amon-Ra and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. I mean, 3 guys that we literally just covered on Wednesday on our North Division preview. Dave kind of sold me a little bit more on Justin Jefferson about how the fact he played well in 10 games, over 1,000 yards in 10 games with nobody at quarterback. I mean, Josh Dobbs was the best. I mean, Kirk Cousins for the beginning of the season, but I mean, Josh Dobbs after that was his best quarterback. So, I'm fine with him being ranked top in the top. Again, ADP right now is wide receiver 4. I think people are really discounting the Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy thing right now. And they're ranking, I think, Amon-Ra above him because he has the consistency. However, what Amon-Ra has to fight is the target share. He's got a little bit more other targets on his offense that can steal those targets from him. Justin Jefferson is the elite talent on that offense until TJ Hawkinson comes back. Right now, he's fighting who? Jordan Addison? Does Jordan Addison want to play football?
I disagree with your point minimally. Not enough to actually want to fight you, but to disagree. We look at Amon-Ra's situation where he's the number 1 alpha. That's true. Justin Jefferson's the number 1 alpha. That's true. Okay. Now going into the season, Amon-Ra does have Sam Laporta. So he is sharing with Sam Laporta. Whereas Justin Jefferson doesn't have Hawkinson, but he would have Hawkinson if he was healthy. Okay. So I think those two cancel each other out because I believe, going into the season, it doesn't because he does have to fight Laporta where Justin Jefferson doesn't. Okay. Now we look at the other wide receiver 2. We have Jameson Williams and we have Jordan Addison. Now, who are you going to want to draft on your team? Jameson Williams or Jordan Addison? Okay. So we established Jordan Addison's a better number 2 than Jameson Williams. Okay.
Yeah.
So it does look like if everyone's healthy, Hawkinson and Jordan Addison, if he's not suspended, Justin Jefferson does have the more competition for targets, whereas Amon-Ra is all by himself with Sam Laporta. So I will say that. I will say Justin Jefferson. Did you already say that? Am I fighting myself?
Yeah.
Damn it. Friday,
I do agree with you. I mean, like I said, people are discounting Justin Jefferson specifically because of, I think, the quarterback position. Yeah, he'll get a fast start because of no TJ Hawkinson, but once TJ comes back by the end of the season, when it matters the most for fantasy lineups, he's going to see less because of TJ. So that could be worrisome. I'm not worried about it. Justin Jefferson is still a beast. He's still going to get the targets that he requires. He's still going to get points that he requires. So
I will say this:
I'm not worried about him at all.
When we go into drafts, when you go into your drafts, your local drafts, your home leagues, this is what I'm talking about, people, your home leagues, and you go in there and you see Justin Jefferson dropping because he will. People are going to be afraid. They're going to look, they're going to go, wow, he's got Sam Darnold. Vikings, they just lost Kirk Cousins. He's going to drop in your casual home leagues. He definitely is. Just keep a reminder out there that that's not a bad thing. You can grab him at the 12 spot, and I think this is the perfect situation if he does fall that far. I'm not saying he will. But if he can fall that far and you grab him up there, dude, that's money all day. He's going to be the biggest return on any kind of value. Real quick, who has thrown for double-digit touchdowns more recently, Josh Dobbs or Sam Darnold?
Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. Oh, that's all. That's all I have to say. Sam Darnold hasn't thrown for
we just talked about this on Wednesday. It's been like
but we have new viewers. We have new viewers.
Sam
Darnold has not thrown more than double-digit touchdowns since 2019. Sam Darnold hasn't thrown for more than 3,000 yards in a season since 2019. Sam Darnold is complete dog trash. We cannot expect him to come in here and just be a Geno Smith.
Who are his wide receivers?
I understand his wide receivers.
He's never had a Justin Jefferson in his entire life. But
he's had
not
DJ
even
Moore.
at USC.
He's had DJ Moore. And Justin Jefferson did more with DJ Moore than Sam Darnold could dream of. And Justin Jefferson, we know where I stand on that guy. Or not Justin Jefferson, Justin Fields. We know where I stand on Justin Fields. He should be out of the league. He should be out of the league. Sam Darnold should be out of the league as well. I can't believe he's getting another shot. I cannot believe it. And this is not a Baker Mayfield. You know what people go, oh, Baker Mayfield came back. Oh, Geno Smith came back. Not everyone's going to come back and be awesome. Not everybody. For every Justin, or for Justin,
And not everyone does. A lot of them
for every
suck. But why can't Sam
exactly
Darnold also come back?
because we've seen chance after chance after chance after chance after chance.
Baker Mayfield was on his fourth team, or is on his fourth team.
It's easy to throw it to Mike Evans. I can throw it to Mike. I can throw it to Mike
It's
Evans.
easy to throw to Justin Jefferson. Are you
Exactly.
saying
It
they're
is.
not the same?
It is easy to throw to Justin Jefferson. It is. It is. Hey. I'm just giving a little.
Oh God, I wish Dave were here. I don't say that often, but now I
I'm
wish
sure
Dave
he's
was
watching.
here.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Dave. What's going on? Amon-Ra
He would
St.
already
Brown
be
is.
coming in. Yeah,
You would.
let's get to Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra is our wide
He's
receiver
lower.
4, ADP
Who's
5.
ADP 3?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I'm really confused as to who ADP 3 is because let's see, CD was 1, Tyreek was 2, Jefferson was 4. Did Jacob mess up on graphics, or is there somebody higher in ADP right now? Go ahead, keep going. I'm confused now.
Well, I don't know. I don't know who.
I'll look.
You guys are the producers. I just come here and host. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Really, all the odds against him going into the draft or going into the season or going into his career, because we all thought he was going to be the worst out of that class, and he actually became to be one of the most solid and best receivers you could possibly have. Amon-Ra St. Brown is that solid guy who's going to score you 20 points a week, 18 points a week. It doesn't matter who he plays or who his quarterback is. The guy demands targets. I'm really into Amon-Ra, and I did say I will draft him over Justin Jefferson this year, and I still will, just because of the safety aspect where you're getting him. You have to spend a first or second round pick to get Amon-Ra St. Brown in non-superflex leagues. We already spoke about his situation where he's battling against Jameson Williams. Again, not a real big threat. I know you can say he's a sleeper and he might have his up games, but he's not a consistent performer as of yet. He had 164 targets last season, turned out to be 119 catches, 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns. 10 touchdowns. That's huge for any kind of wide receiver. Every single person we went through, so far, CD and Tyreek, I believe Justin Jefferson as well, we're close to that double-digit touchdown reception mark where we want to see our wide receivers hit. If he just reduces back down to 6 like he had in 2022, it could be a problem for him. I don't see it being a problem, though. They're a new offense. They're a high-scoring offense. They were one of the best offenses in the league last year. And I believe Jared Goff finally found his footing. He finally found a spot where he feels comfortable. And Jared Goff wasn't a bum before this, by the way. I just want to throw that out there for all you people that are going to comment. You said Sam Darnold can't get a second chance. Jared Goff got a second chance, but Jared Goff led a team to a Super Bowl before he went to the Lions. And he was actually very confident and very competent before he went to the Lions. Was he the best? No. He was an average quarterback, and he still is an average quarterback. He still is in that 14, 16 range in real-life quarterbacks, so very average. But he can get the job done and get the ball to the receivers. I'm not worried about his quarterback situation at all. Amon-Ra is a stud, plug and play. Don't even think about it. I'm so excited to own or roster the Sun God everywhere.
Yeah. If you didn't see our show on Wednesday, you should go back and watch. We covered the NFC and AFC North divisions, who the studs, sleepers, and duds were. Studs, duds, and sleepers were. We talked about Amon-Ra. I brought up the fact that he is a very consistent, 12 to 20 points every week, 15 to 20 points. You can just automatically count him for that. We talked about Jamar Chase and how he is either a 4-point game or a 45-point game. Like there was no consistency with Jamar Chase. He had a lot of single digit games. He had more single digit games than he had games over 20 points, which was sad. But when he got over 20 points, he got 35, 40, 45 points, which is ridiculous. If you want a safety net in the first round and Amon-Ra is still sitting there, I would take Amon-Ra. And it's that easy. I mean, he is a stud. He is going to get you 15 to 20 points every week.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at his numbers right now. 9 out of his 17 games last year, he was a top 12 receiver for that week. That's very consistent. Where is Seth when we need him? Seth, where is my consistency ranking? My points per game, whatever you call it. I really like that stat. I just don't know what it's called. But he would be at the top of the list for any kind of receiver in that statistic where you're super consistent. And Matt B in the chat does say Goff has another 3 to 5 years in him. Yes, if you're playing Dynasty, That's good news for Amon-Ra St. Brown because he's got that security for a long time, whereas a guy like Justin Jefferson, we don't know. A guy like Garrett Wilson, which we're going to probably talk about later, we don't know. It's nice to get these receivers that are known, that have known great quarterbacks leading the charge, and Amon-Ra is just one of those. Are you worried about anyone else on that roster taking anything else from Amon-Ra?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Neither.
Not even Jahmyr Gibbs. No.
And could you imagine ever ranking him above Jamar Chase about 2 years ago?
No.
It's wild.
I could never have seen myself like ranking Jamar Chase under wide receiver 3, and yet here we are.
Here we are. Speaking about Jamar Chase, wide receiver 5 right now. He's going ADP wide receiver 3. Not sure if these are accurate, but that's what it says.
They are as of right now. Literally, that's why I was like, "What?" Like so when you started talking about Amon-Ra. Yeah.
So obviously we're against the consensus here. We have him lower than the regular people, which is totally fine. Wide receiver 3 right now, 5th overall. Now you have Jamar Chase. You're the Jamar Chase hater. And I'm going to let you talk about it because I think I talked too much today.
I have Jamar Chase at wide receiver 5. You have him at wide receiver 6. So I don't want to hear I'm the Jamar Chase hater. I had a bold prediction like a month and a half ago that I still think will come true. Jamar
What
Chase.
Is that bold? What is that bold prediction? What is it? For Matt B in the chat. What is your bold prediction on Jamar Chase?
My bold prediction is the fact that Jamar Chase will not finish as the top 12 wide receiver in fantasy football this year in PPR. That's going to be tough. I don't think my bold prediction will hit, but that's what it is. And I'm going to stick to it. Now, Jamar Chase, great wide receiver. Probably, I mean, he is one of the best wide receivers in the league. He's got Joe Burrow throwing in the ball. When he has Joe Burrow throwing in the ball, he is fantastic. Who knows what's going to happen to T. Higgins? If T. Higgins stay on the field and then get his contract, they lost Tyler Boyd. They brought in Mike Gesicki. They have a rookie, Jermaine Burton, and Andre Iosivas from last year. They're not taking T. Higgins type targets away from Jamar Chase. He's going to get his targets. He's going to get his points. I'm not worried about him. The only reason why I'd be worried about Jamar Chase is the same reason why I would slightly be worried about Justin Jefferson, quarterback. Will Burrow play the entire season? And if he does, great. Chase is a top 5 wide receiver. If he doesn't, I'm a lot more worried about Jamar Chase's production.
Where did Jamar Chase finish last year in the receiver core? I don't roster him anywhere. I never do. I can't afford him. He's always going too high.
Chase finished
wide receiver 11 last year?
Wide receiver 11 and wide receiver 12 the year before that.
Okay. Now, I don't want to be the guy who goes, if you take this game out, but if you take week 5 out where he had 3 touchdowns, 192 yards, and scored you 52.2 points, I would like to know if you take his highest game out and his lowest game out, where would he finish? He already finished lower than what we thought he finished or what we think he is or where he's ranked now. You take that 52-point game in week 5 and you're looking at a mid wide receiver 2. And I love this stat.
I mean, we're looking at like wide receiver 15, 16 right here.
Yes, and that's because of the situation with Joe Burrow. But we talked about Justin Jefferson. He had straight up bums throwing him the ball and he still balled out. If Jamar Chase can't overcome that, then I'm really afraid of his future in when or if Joe Burrow gets hurt again, because that's a situation where we have to monitor and we have to take that in part. If he's not good enough to actually be good with a backup quarterback, then what are we doing here? I love this stat. I've said it many, many, many times. If you're a new listener, which we do have a lot of new subscribers over the past couple of weeks, so thank you for that. Tell your friends, let us know where you found us. Jamar Chase had more single-digit fantasy point games in 2023 than Justin Jefferson has had in the past 3 years combined. Jamar Chase is not as consistent as you guys think he is. He's a very yo-yo player. He's a guy who's going to score you 40 points one week or 9 points the next. That's just who he is, unfortunately. And this has been his career. That's been who he is all career. Now, you can go there and go, well, he scored you 52 points when you realize 20% of his fantasy points came from that one game last year. I'm just throwing a number out there. I'm not sure if it's 20% or not, but that's a lot. And he does that year after year after year. There can be a situation where he just doesn't have that one game and he will finish outside the top 12. So your bold prediction is not that bold, but it could happen. But I don't think it's gonna, because he's
but I'm the crazy one for saying it.
but he's that talented. He is that talented,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Let's spin the other side, the positive side of it. He is that talented enough to win you those weeks. And that's why you draft him, to win you specific weeks. But he's also that I don't want to say untalented because he's not. He's a very talented player. But he can also get phased out of an offense where, hell, weeks 15, 17, 18, 10.4, 7.1, 5.9. 3 weeks in a row where he played was just complete trash and killed you. Start the year last year, 9.1, 8.1. Again, completely killed you weeks 1 and 2. He can do that. And then the rest of the weeks, 14 points, 9 points, 12 points. You can get that from any receiver. He only had 5 games above 20 points last year. I don't know. I don't want that. If I'm drafting him in the first round, I need more than that. I need better. I need CD numbers.
I'm not drafting him in the first. This is a second round pick for me at the earliest, even in non super flex, to be honest with you. But yeah, Jamar Chase again, great player. You'll be happy if you get him. If he has a great year, he'll be great.
Just
let's answer. Do you want to answer a couple questions real quick?
Yeah,
Or
I do.
first, Matt B, Dynasty Superflex picked up your guy Tyreek in the 5th round of a startup. That's
bananas.
again 30 years old, but he's going to score you a lot of points this year. So, Dynasty, would you trade Justin Jefferson for Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors?
No. I just declined a trade this morning where he offered me, I have Justin Jefferson, Jalen Waddle, a second and 2 firsts. I'm keeping Justin Jefferson. I would take Justin Jefferson over 2 firsts, a second, and Waddle. So no, I would not take Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'm fine taking the it really depends on what does my roster need. Do I have only Justin Jefferson and nobody else? If I have no other wide receivers, I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors because you're hoping that those two can equal Justin Jefferson because that's the hype, right? This year will probably suck with Malik Neighbors. I keep saying that all the time. Nobody believes me apparently, but I think in the future once the Giants have a quarterback, like Malik Neighbors will be fine. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. will be fine. So. And the last one here, I'm on Raw going to finish wide receiver 1.
That's my dude right there.
Let's do some rapid fire rankings here for 6 through 8 because it's almost 1 o'clock. Lunch break is almost over, so gotta get going.
Yeah, you guys with your lunch breaks. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. Tell your friends we're here live every Friday until the season, doing our rankings. So every Friday at noon we'll be here. Rapid fire me, Justin. Or am I rapid firing you?
I don't know. AJ Brown.
Wide
receiver 6, Brown? 9th overall.
Yeah, I love AJ Brown.
Let's see. So you got AJ Brown at 8. I have him at 6. So one of us doesn't like him as much as the other. Why do you not like AJ Brown?
I just think Devontae Smith's going to bounce back. We saw him have a down year last year. I think Devontae Smith gets more involved. I am worried about Saquon Barkley taking some targets away from both of them. And if Saquon Barkley takes targets away from AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, obviously it lowers AJ Brown's production. I do think Saquon Barkley is going to be a big major playing point in this season. I think he's going to be a big player. He's my favorite running back switching teams. I mean, that's an obvious, right? He's going to the best team possible for him. And he's the best wide receiver or running back in this whole carousel that all these guys changed. I do think that AJ Brown is a flash player, and that's awesome. Like he's a beast. He's going to win you a lot of weeks. But as far as consistency, I can see Devontae Smith taking over games as well as Saquon Barkley. And again, is Jalen Hurts going to suffer because of losing Kelsey on that offensive line? I don't want to put too much stock in one player, especially in the offensive line. But if that one player was the glue holding them together, here in Tampa Bay, we were worried about losing Wirfs, and we wanted to get him locked up. If they lost him, that offensive line was in shambles. I don't know the situation over there in Philly. If they lost Kelsey, which they did, are they going to be in shambles? We're going to have to find out. And I think that offense could take a step back, and that's why I have AJ Brown just a little bit lower. Nothing crazy. Who do I have above him? You have my rankings up.
You have Jamar Chase at 6 and Marvin Harrison Jr. at 7.
Smiling because I love Marv. We'll get into him later. What do you think about AJ Brown? Why do you have him so high?
I like him. He scores you a lot of points. He had 1, 2, 3 wide receiver 1 finishes last year, which was pretty solid, but unfortunately, again, that was all at like the beginning of the season when the season mattered the most. He kind of fell off. He was wide receiver 33, 27 and 45 to finish your fantasy playoffs, which did suck. That's why I have him a little bit lower, down to 6. Otherwise, I'd probably have him in the top 3. He had a lot of single digit finishes at the start of the season. They hit that bye and he just fell. But even then, he's still scoring double digit points. So it's not completely fallen off to where like, oh my God. I mean, even when he finishes wide receiver 12 in week 13 against San Francisco, he still scored 19 and a half points. So it's the other 11 were just even better than him that week. So AJ Brown is good. He is the elite talent on that offense, but the addition of Saquon Barkley in that running game is going to have an effect. Devonta Smith coming back is going to have an effect.
Bouncing
that's why
back.
I got him a little bit lower. Bouncing back. Sorry, not coming
Yep.
back. Garrett
Third
Wilson?
best. Yeah, Garrett Wilson. I was going to say Devontae Smith's the third best wide receiver 2 in football. Garrett Wilson. We have him at wide receiver 7, probably because of me. I probably have him the highest. If I don't, I'll be surprised.
You do.
Okay. Where do I have him?
You have him at wide receiver 5.
I am, if you've never watched the show and you're one of the new 120 subscribers, you don't know this. I am the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan of all time. I'm not a Packers fan. I'm not a Jets fan. I'm a Dolphins fan. So this is going to be hard for me to root for Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers all year long, but I'm going to do it. I boldly predicted Garrett Wilson will lead the league in touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. I think over 20, I said. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be on some kind of revenge tour, some kind of FU tour, going to make sure that Garrett Wilson and him, although I heard they got into a little argument, little scuff. That's normal amongst boys. Boys will be boys. That happens. I'm not worried about that at all. Garrett Wilson's a great value because you can get him in the 3rd round, I believe. I think he's falling that far. Maybe I'm wrong, but drafts I've seen, he's fallen to the 3rd round because we don't know what's going to happen. These next 2 wide receivers, by the way, on our rankings are shots in the dark. We saw Garrett Wilson succeed last season with nobody. Like Zach Wilson was a train wreck. We know that. We don't have to go over it. But he still succeeded. He still did his job. He still scored you a ton of fantasy points. So imagine getting a Hall of Famer, the best quarterback of all time, back in your roster. That's going to be magic. And I can't wait to see it every single week. Garrett Wilson's going to prove. Last year we thought the jump was going to happen to that elite level. This is the year we're going to see Garrett Wilson jump into that elite level, and we're going to talk about him amongst the Amon-Ra's, the Justin Jeffersons, the CeeDee Lambs. I guarantee it. This is going to be his breakout year, and I can't wait. I'm going to draft him in every single league I can. Every single league. And I'm not going to look back.
I have him in a league. You got me sold on him on a league, so I bought him. I drafted him. My only thing with Garrett Wilson is that this is going to be my year. If he doesn't succeed this year, like I'm not going to have him in the top 10 anymore. I'm going to have him in the 15 range because he has not finished in the top 20 yet in his career in his first 2 seasons. Again, I know he's played with absolutely nobody. He's played with who again? Zach Wilson. I get that, but if he can't succeed with Aaron Rodgers, then yeah, he's going to fall for me after the season.
Aaron Rodgers is in his twilight career, man. Like he's almost done.
I know, but if he can't succeed with Aaron Rodgers as the wide receiver 1, he's going to succeed with Jordan Travis next year. Like,
don't worry about that. No, listen. Okay. He had 168 targets last year. He's going to get more targets with Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers likes to focus in on that one dude who's going to give him the ball or give him touchdowns like Devontae Adams or like James Jones that one year. Like he likes to focus in on one receiver and make them really, really good because they're the best. He knows they're the best. Who's Garrett Wilson's competition? All right. We like Michael Corley. Mike Williams is there. I know that. Those 10 games Mike Williams are going to play, they're going to be awesome. He's going to make spectacular catches. They're going to be good. Mike Williams will be utilized, but he's not going to be the deep target like a Garrett Wilson. He's not going to stretch the field like Garrett Wilson. Mike Williams is there for red zone and to make spectacular catches on the sideline for first downs. I'm excited for this offense. Breece Hall too. Gosh, the Jets are too good. Can we chill? Can we chill, Jets? Let the Dolphins eat. Let us eat. It's our time. Okay. We have Tyreek. We have Tua.
Marvin Harrison Jr. Last one on the list. He's being ADP wide receiver 9, 16 overall. We have him at 8. You have him at 7. I have him at 8. Dave has him at 7.
I'm the lowest
on Marvin Harrison Jr.
This could be the biggest
Minus
call.
Jacob is actually way lower, but
this could be our biggest call or our biggest flop. I drafted Marvin Harrison in the second round in Scott Fishbowl. I am a believer in Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's going to be a generational talent. And again, it's on trends. We see receivers come in every year after year, rookies just taking over games, and people are like, well, Kyler this, Kyler that. Kyler's proven where he has a DeAndre Hopkins or he has that one guy and he just makes him a superstar because they have that connection. I'm looking forward to Marvin Harrison Jr. play football, taking all the targets, having zero competition. Throw your Michael Wilsons at me. Throw your, who's that other bum? Greg Dortch at me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see. Don't tell me about your, well, Michael Wilson looks pretty good. Get out of here with that. That's nonsense. If he was that good, he would have been awesome last year, and he wasn't. He was good. Marvin Harrison's going to be awesome, and he's going to demand every single target that they have. Trey McBride, sure. Yes. Come on. Marvin Harrison's not going to get 200 targets. But my thing is with Marvin Harrison and the guys that we have ranked around him, I don't see a world where he gets less than 150 targets. I don't. He's going to be the main focal point there in that passing game. There's no one there that's going to be talented enough to steal targets from him. And that's where we may differ with other people in the community or other people watching. He hasn't proven anything. Kyler's not really. We had someone on the show where, when's the last time Kyler threw for X amount of yards? Well, I forgot who it was, and I respect that person's opinion, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't need to throw for 5,000 yards to have a successful wide receiver 1. He can throw for 3,000, 3,500, as long as 1,500 of them are going to one receiver, which he did with DeAndre Hopkins, and the list goes on. So Marvin Harrison Jr. is one of the safest rookies coming out for me ever in any kind of draft class. And I'm excited to do it. And yes, are we drafting him at a ceiling? Maybe. But I'm here for it because maybe it's not a ceiling. Maybe we're drafting him at his floor.
He might be wide receiver 1 next year. We don't know.
And that's the thing is I'm drafting him project forward. I'll draft him in every league second round. I'll be totally fine. I don't know, man, because what if Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison are there? I'm going to have some kind of problem.
Gotta go with your gut. Gotta go with your gut and your rankings, right?
And it's Garrett Wilson. Yeah.
It's Garrett Wilson. So Wednesday, we got the AFC and NFC South divisions that we're going to play, right? Or cover. Yeah. We're going to talk about some of the...
Yeah, we'll be talking about the duds and studs and sleepers.
Studs, duds, and sleepers. We got a pretty weak conference, and we got a pretty or division, and we got a division that's on the up and up. I'll let you decide which one's which.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about the South with you. We're going to talk about the Buccaneers. We're going to talk about the Colts, two teams we know very well. Of course, we have some rookies that we're going to be talking about with Jonathan Brooks, with the Carolina Panthers. I'm excited for the South show. So check us out Wednesday night. We're going to be here live at 8 p.m. We also have other things going on. We usually do a draft. We're not going to do a draft today. We're skipping it. It's just 2 of us. And I really didn't like the topic, just to be fair with you guys. It's okay. It's okay. We can't win them all, baby. But you're a winner if you're watching this show. Make sure you watch us every single Wednesday night and every single Friday afternoon. We'll be talking about fantasy goodness. Thank you to all you've subscribed. Honestly, this week has been crazy. I can't believe how many subscribers we got this week. So keep it up. Tell your friends. We're here for you. We love you. Justin, any last words before we get out of here?
None.
Justin, you're supposed to say subscribe, like, and tell
subscribe,
us what you think.
OUSFFPOD. Tell us what you think about our wide receiver rankings.
And who do you have ranked higher than our guys? Peace out, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.